does pretty much, I think, what Tiger figures it will. Go right about, what, a foot, Roger?
Yes, John. Maybe even just a shade more than that.
Well, he made the great par save at 16, Roger, and the unbelievably good bunker shot at 17. So we might as well do 18 equally well.
Is there one more record left in his magic putter?
It just carried a little too much speed, otherwise it would have gone in. You can see now it's actually behind the hole and a little to the right. So he had the right line, Roger, a little too hard.
So he needs this for the 272 scoring total, which would tie the record. Record shared by Jack Nicklaus and Lee Janzen.
Inside right edge and solid.
And Tiger Woods is the 100th U.S. Open champion in history. A remarkable week by a remarkable player. On a remarkable golf course.
Butch Harmon, his teacher, worked a lot of hours. I don't know who's more excited, Butch or Tiger.
There's the total, 12 under at a U.S. Open. 72, Jack Nicklaus. 82, Tom Watson. 92, Tom Kite. Year 2000, who else would it be? Tiger Woods atop the U.S. Open leaderboard at Pebble Beach. Chance to look at some of the other scores. Everybody else over par. Tiger Woods 67 today. Caps it off. So there it is. He ties the lowest U.S. Open score for 72 holes, 272. Tiger Woods at Pebble Beach. Joins Jack Nicklaus and Lee Janzen. Just the particulars of the scorecard left for Tiger before he comes back out on the 18th green, and that's where we will have the presentation of the cherished trophy for Tiger Woods. Now 3 of the 4 professional majors. First the Masters, then the PGA Championship, and now the U.S. Open. His mom, Clotilda, behind the 18th green to watch it, and we'll watch Tiger get the trophy when we return.
There is a club. Wood. Leather. Adrenaline. The new Lincoln LS. Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Handle with care. Words the USGA has embraced for more than a century. Handle with care, so that when someone picks up the game never lets go.
100th year of the U.S. Open. They are a century of champions, 71 in all, from Newport to Pinehurst, from Rollins to Stewart. And for the 100th time, this American celebration has continued. For the men who triumphed before, for the men who have thrilled us, for the men who will always be United States Open champions.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
Don't believe it now.
And the rockets red, the bombs are bursting in air, keep cool through the night. Battle flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The United States Open. This is the greatest golf tournament in the world, and I'm proud to win it.
The older you get, the more thrilling it gets because the harder it gets.
And the rockets red, the bombs are bursting in the air. They keep cool through the night.
'99 U.S. Open champions before him. Tiger Woods, number 100. And we'll be back with a presentation for Tiger Woods in just a moment.
Before you knew my name.
Before you knew my face.
Before I was on TV.
I worked just as hard. I practiced just as long. I wanted to win.
I wanted to win.
I wanted to win just as much. Like most players, I trusted Titleist. I trusted Titleist then.
For the same reasons.
I trust Titleist now.
Because my game is too important to me.
To me. To me.
To me.
To me.
To leave anything to chance.
A pitching wedge? Nah. With a win like this, I'm going with a 9-iron. Bob, what do you think?
I think if we could use our systems integration expertise to show wind speed and direction on the course, we'd make it more interesting for the viewers.
What viewers?
Unisys provides wind stats and scoring for golf telecasts worldwide, proving it's not just e-business solutions we eat, sleep, and drink. There's also golf.
Hey, Bob, it's just us out here?
You do your job, people notice. Southern Company,
rated #1 by America's top energy buyers. How big is your game? Southern Company. Our game's energy, and we generate more electricity than any other company in America.
At Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, our global expertise has always been one of our greatest assets and greatest sources of pride. Of course, whatever we achieve throughout the world, we can never forget who we're achieving it for. At Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time.
We asked golfers why they play Painted Hills Golf Course.
I love playing at Painted Hills because they really support junior golf. Do lessons, encouraging play, and even a scholarship program.
Hi, I'm Patty Marquis, teaching professional at Painted Hills. We offer group and individual golf lessons. Please give us a call. This is a great practice facility.
Join the fun at Painted Hills, 4 miles south of I-90 Argonne exit 287 on the Dishman-Micah Road.
Tiger Woods heading down with Trey Holland, about to be crowned the Open champion at the
Ladies
18th
and
at Pebble.
gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the 2000 United States Open champion, Mr. Tiger Woods.
Well, for those of you who've been watching at home and those people here at Pebble Beach, rest assured this course is nowhere near as easy as Tiger Woods made it look the last 4 days. Is it safe to assume that there's no more gear that you could kick it into?
Man, I played really well today, and all week I made those big putts, and that's what it boiled down to. I drove the ball beautifully all week, hit a lot of good iron shots, but more importantly, I made all those big par putts.
You have long been a student of this game, not only a practitioner. Can you talk a little bit about the significance of winning the 100th U.S. Open Championship at this beautiful venue?
You know, coming into this event, you know, that's what I had in mind, and this is the... well, I'm honest.
It doesn't always work out that way, though, does it?
No, it doesn't. But you know, today and all week, you know, I was telling Stevie walking up 18. I said, you know, I've had a sense of calmness that I haven't had in a while. Very reminiscent to how I played at Augusta in '97. I felt very tranquil, very calm, even amidst, I guess, the stormy conditions yesterday. I still felt very peaceful inside, and you know, for some reason, no matter what happened out there, I was able to keep my cool and my composure and focus 100% on each and every shot.
Like many people watching, I'm sure your dad taught you the game of golf. Today, of course, is Father's Day. Your dad's not here, but I'm going to make a wild guess and say that I'll bet you he's watching. Any thoughts you'd like to share with him today?
Well, it's not too bad a Father's Day present, is it?
No, I don't think so. Tiger Woods, congratulations, the 2000 U.S. Open champion.
Scene at Pebble Beach. That storied 18th green, Tiger Woods hoisting the U.S. Open trophy. 3 of the 4 professional majors now for Tiger, and what an impressive back 9 to cap off the record scoring total here at the 100th U.S. Open. As we check in for the final round recap at the 10th for birdie, this to get to 9 under. And at the 12th for birdie to get to 10 under, and this was just the second time that a player had reached double digits under par in a U.S. Open. As you see the numbers go up, there's the double digit, red 10, and then the second shot at the par 4 13th from the rough. Pretty good lie, though. Birdied that to get to 11 under. And then he was on to try to match Gil Morgan as the only player to go to 12 under in a U.S. Open, and he got that done at the par 5 14th. Talked about the importance of saving par putts all championship week long. Here's the number 12. At 16, he was faced with this for par. Every time he was faced with them, he needed them. He got them. And then with that 272 scoring total record still in question, the par 3 17th, trying to get up and down. Did so. Flirted with that, dropping in for a 2. So then at the par 5 18th, this for par. And a guy that came into this final round with a 10-shot lead, shoots 32 on the back, totals a 67, which turned out to be the round of the day. And Tiger Woods adds his name to that illustrious list. Wire-to-wire winners in a U.S. Open. 15-shot win in the 2000 U.S. Open. Largest margin of victory ever in a major championship. And let's just stop talking about the numbers for a second, Johnny. Is this the best single golfing performance you've ever seen?
Well, what I was going to say is, you know, come on, you can't win by 15 shots at Pebble Beach. Not in the U.S. Open. It wasn't a great duel. It was too good for that. And you have to look at the performance analytically, and you got to say this is the greatest performance in golf history. Who knows? Maybe take it another step farther. It might be the greatest in history of sports, period. But it's one of those performances that you just got to tell your kids about. You got to learn from it. You got to suck it up. And you have to put it as a standard for all those who follow. And even though he's only 24 years old, who knows? It doesn't get much better than this. It doesn't get any better than this.
Well, one last look at this record-shattering Open Championship. Again, tied or set by Tiger this week in the Open. Largest 36-hole lead down the list. Most birdies, 21. Lowest 36-hole total, and then tying the lowest 72-hole total of 272. So what does this say for the rest of the golfing world? For a long time, they've been talking about, well, Tiger's raised the bar. I just think he might have raised it out of sight, at least this week.
Well, you know, you just can't really talk about it too much, but it was so clinical today. In his mind, he said, okay, I'm going to play the front 9. I'm going to do everything right. I'm going to just try to make pars, keep it underneath the hole. He played the 9 holes, got that done. As soon as he teed off on 10, hit that great drive there, I think he said, okay, it's time to put the hammer down and go for the record. And he played just that way. The only thing surprising about the whole round to me, after the great bunker shot at 17, he didn't go ahead and turn it loose on the tee at 18. I would have liked to have seen him do that, but the bottom line is, it was unbelievably. It was a great performance.
Well, the second youngest to win 3 of the 4 professional majors. Jack Nicklaus, the youngest to do it, but at age 24, Tiger Woods continues to amaze. A most appropriate Open setting to say goodbye to the best ever and welcome today's best as the 100th U.S. Open champion at Pebble Beach. What a week.
The U.S. Open is just truly amazing. And to have it here on this site, these conditions, don't get much better than this.
Pebble Beach has always been a great part of my life. To finish it up here was probably the place that I'd rather do it than any place else.
Be sure to join us in a couple of weeks as our coverage of golf's national championships continues. The 21st U.S. Senior Open from the Saucon Valley Country Club in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, again Saturday, July 1st, right here on NBC Sports. A reminder to join us tomorrow, 9 Eastern Time, 6 out here on the West Coast. Game 6 of the NBA Finals. The Lakers try to wrap up the series as they host the Pacers. And coming up next on most of these NBC stations, Dateline. Then it's John Travolta, Gene Hackman, and Rene Russo star in Get Shorty. So for Johnny Miller, Gary Koch, Bob Murphy, Roger Maltby, Mark Rolfe, Ed Sneed, David Fay, and Jimmy Roberts, Dan Hicks, so long from the shores of scenic Pebble Beach, and another historical win for the 100th U.S. Open champion, Tiger Woods.
The field house was red hot, and so were the
Pebble Beach Golf Links in Pebble Beach, California. The Golf Channel is proud to present live coverage of the 2000 U.S. Open news conferences with your host, Rich Lerner.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. The legend continues to grow. This is an historic day in sports. Certainly one of the greatest achievements in the history of golf. It may rank, when all is said and done, as truly one of the great achievements in all of sports. Certainly by the manner in which he dominated his competition, you would have to say that this will never be done again. This is a record, a margin of victory, 15 shots in our national championship, which just may never be touched. Consider this for a moment. Tiger Woods' margin of victory, 15, breaks a 138-year-old record. 138 years. The previous largest margin of victory in any major championship, 13 shots, set in 1862 by Tom Morris Sr. at the British Open. The numbers are absolutely staggering. First man to finish double digits under par in U.S. Open history. Largest margin of victory in a U.S. Open. Previously, it was 11, and that is a record which had stood for better than a century. Willie Anderson won by 11 in 1899. These records are unconscionable. What he did just boggles the mind. The largest margin of victory in any PGA Tour event, forgetting majors, was 16 shots. He won our national championship, which is generally a tense, sort of taut drama, by 15 shots. We are talking a 2-touchdown victory for Tiger Woods. Most victories now for any active player on the PGA Tour. He's got 20. 3 majors, most for any player under the age of 40. This is interesting. He becomes the second man to have won the PGA, the Masters, the U.S. Open, and the U.S. Amateur. The only other man to have done that is Jack Nicklaus. He's won 2 of the last 3 majors played, going back to the PGA Championship. He's won 5 of 11 starts this year, 12 of his last 21 overall. He ties the Open scoring record of 272, but certainly shatters the old scoring mark in relation to par. Tiger finishing at 12. The old record was 8 under par. First wire-to-wire winner since Tony Jacklin did it in 1970. He had the best round of the day in round number 1. He tied for the best round of the day in round number 2, and he had the best round of the day in round number 4. He was bogey-free in rounds 1 and 4. He did not have a single 3-putt, and that was the same result in the 1997 Masters, not a single 3-putt. You know, our viewers last year voted the 97 Masters performance as the best achievement of the century. We may have to rethink our voting, because what Tiger Woods did here at a venue which the other scores tell us was clearly very, very difficult, with only one player breaking par, you might have to rank this achievement here even ahead of the brilliant run at the 1997 Masters. You know, Nick Price said that we always felt that somebody would come along who could hit the golf ball 300 yards and combine that with the touch of Ben Crenshaw. Tiger Woods is the longest driver in history, he went on to say, and he is a better putter than Ben Crenshaw. Certainly you make the case that nobody is driving the ball better than Tiger Woods, or nobody ever has driven it this long and this straight. And we always felt that if Tiger Woods could start to roll some putts in, combine that with his extraordinary length, then he would be unstoppable. And the rest of the competitors in the world of golf at this point have got to be scratching their heads. What can they possibly do to slow down Tiger Woods? We're going to take a short break. Tiger Woods will be along in just a little while. Ernie Els expected to be up here as well. We'll do that right after this short timeout.
Open championship, being American, I mean, it's a great feeling. I mean, it's hard to describe. Going out there, it's hard to put into words and describe, the emotions that are going through me, especially coming up 18. It was just incredible to think of. You think back of all the hard work you put into it, time as a kid, imagining that you're trying to beat the best players in the world. Back then it was Arnie and Jack and Watson and Hogan and great U.S. Open players, and to come up 18 and know that all you need to do is just stay alive, that you would have the Open Championship.
What was your highest point mentally and your lowest point mentally?
When?
In this round, the final round.
The highest point, I've really never had a low point. I guess the highest point probably was making that par putt on 16. That was probably the biggest one, because I didn't want to make a bogey today. And going out there, if I figured if I made no bogeys today, they're going to have to shoot a great number. And it's possible, but not too realistic to go out there and shoot 10 under par. And if I go out there and make no bogeys, I knew I'd make a couple birdies here and there, just because of how good I was putting. But just go around, be patient, and make those par putts when I had to, like I did on 16. God, it sure feels good.
Were you disappointed when you didn't birdie 18?
No, not at all. I wouldn't say disappointed. I was definitely not happy with myself after I hit the putt that far by the hole. I'm just trying to leave it short of the hole and just tap in and get out of there. Now I got to work to grind it out on one. No, I was 15 shots ahead until 18 green. The last scoreboard we had that was updated was Jimenez was 1 over through, it was 15 holes. And on 17 green, there was a scoreboard over there, but it still said the same thing, 1 over through 15 holes. And I thought I had a 13-shot lead, got up on 18 and 18 green, and saw that it was 15. Pretty good feeling.
Tiger, can I ask you what it means, sort of a twofold question, what it means to be an American and win this United States Open Championship and on Father's Day?
Man, it's an incredible feeling to be, our nation's Open champion. And it's just something that we all, as kids who play golf and who want to aspire to become professionals, this is what we look forward to, is playing our nation's Open Championship and hopefully one day winning it. And to come out this weekend and win it on top of that, win it on Father's Day, I can't wait to give this thing to my dad and I'll let him rub it a little bit.
Tiger, when did you go from feeling confident to feeling unbeatable sometime this week?
To be honest with you, I never really felt unbeatable, but I did feel as I said, coming up, I guess out there on the greens, I had a weird feeling this week. It's hard to describe, a feeling of tranquility, calmness, especially amidst the stormy conditions yesterday. I just felt very calm and very at ease with myself. And that's something we all want to have, but you can't exactly have that every day, and to have it for an entire week, it's a great feeling. That it? Okay, great.
Now meeting with the press.
I'd like to know, watching him, it's not like it's a heartbreaking loss today, playing against him. What does it say about him, the way he played today? How great a player are we seeing right now?
I don't know how much there's more to say about him. We've been talking about him for like 2 years now, and I guess we're going to talk about him for the next 20 years. But whatever I'm going to say is probably going to be an understatement. So, he's just, at the moment, just a great player. He's only 24 years old. He's best in the game by a long shot. Seems like we're not quite on the same ballpark right now. You know, when he's on, you don't have much of a chance. You know, I must say this week myself, looking at my own game, I only played one good round of golf. But still, I guess I would have, if I played out of my mind, I probably still would have lost by at least 5 or 6 or 7. So, you know, he's just a phenomenal player. I mean, that's also an understatement, probably.
Go ahead, right here.
A follow-up to that, Ernie, is what intimidation factor is there out there now amongst yourself and the other players to know that you can play your A game? I think, you know, going into the tournament, does it start to, week after week, build up on you that, well, gee, I could shoot lights out here and still not win the tournament? What effect does that have on your actual game?
That's a good question. You know, and it seems like my schedule, if I just talk about myself, my schedule is very similar to Tiger's this year. And before his streak, or before he got so dominant, you know, I really enjoy it. You know, maybe I have to change my schedule now. But I don't think so. You know, I really enjoy playing with him. Although he's the best player in the world by far, it's tough playing with him, especially in the US Open. I think when I play with him in regular PGA Tour events, it's not too much of a bigger deal. I still enjoy playing with him because I feel he pulls me along a little bit. And but in the US Open, it's difficult, you know. I mean, it's your national open, and it's a major championship, and he's the world hero in golf right now. So that's tough playing with him, you know. If it was a bit of a dark fight out there today, I think it could have become quite interesting, you know, with the crowd and everything. But I mean, he was running away from it. But to come back to your question, you know, I haven't really given it too much thought in that way, where I go to a tournament and when he's playing, I feel I have no chance. I can't think like that. I've got to think that I can play like him, you know. If I'm dreaming, but that's what I've got to believe.
Go ahead over here.
Ernie, is it embarrassing at all to get beat so badly as a group? Is it embarrassing at all?
That's a tough question, you know. I think that's an unfair question. I can't help the guy so good, you know. Maybe you should go report on football or something. Maybe you know more about that. But, you know, he's a great player. I respect him as a player, obviously. He's a great person. I think he's a good friend of mine, and he's got a lot of friends out here. And is it embarrassing? You know, I've got to laugh at that one, but you know, it's kind of tough to take. You know, you have to look up at the guy, and you know, the comparisons are being made with him and Jack Nicklaus, and at the moment he's probably the head of Jack Nicklaus at this time in his career. So, hey, we're seeing a great player, man.
Back there, please, and then down here.
Yes, continuing on that line, is there anything that you guys can do to catch up to Tiger?
Well, again, if I look at myself, I can't comment about other players. If I comment about myself, you know, this week my short game let me down. I didn't putt very well. Made some stupid mistakes, meaning I had a lot of short irons into a lot of greens and never made birdies, and sometimes made bogeys. And I said this, I think, at Memorial, you know, when you have the best player in the world playing on his game, you can't make any mistakes. You've got to play out of your mind. And I played one great round this week. I was yesterday, and the rest were very mediocre. So what do we have to do to get to him? You know, get all the breaks you can get, and then some, and then make every putt you look at, and hope for the best.
Right here.
Ernie, I was wondering if you could maybe talk a little bit about the margin of error that Tiger has closed the gap on as far as the rest of the field. What you feel the margin of error might be now when you face Tiger. Has he closed it to such a fine line that you feel like you have to play perfect or near perfect?
Well, he is.
What has he done to you on that level?
I think he is. I mean, he's near perfect. You know, the way he played this week. Before he started out today, I think he had 17 birdies, and I think he made 4 birdies without a bogey today. So I mean, if that's not perfect, I don't know what is, you know. You know, I watched some of his golf when I wasn't playing on television, and it seems like when he missed a green, he got it up and down. He never got ahead of himself. It's just a perfect display of golf. If you want to watch a guy win a U.S. Open playing perfectly, you just seen it this week.
Dave?
Ernie, what was it like going for second place and still being so far behind?
It was tough.
Were you watching him on the scoreboard
yeah,
more than...
Yeah, I was. You know, I was trying to play well. You know, after bogeying 4 and 5 from nowhere, I felt like I just had to try and, you know, play as good as I can and try and get this day over and done with. You know, I was in a very tough situation there. You know, after 5 holes being 2 over, and then all of a sudden 12 shots behind Tiger, and you know, what do you do? You know, do you really knuckle down and play, or what do you do? And I just try to play as good as I could coming in. Unfortunate enough for Miguel, he bogeyed the last 2 holes to go to 3 over. To be honest with you, I just tried to get it to red numbers, and if my putter didn't fall apart, I think I would have got it to red numbers.
Back there.
Ernie, take the wildest imaginary tournament that you ever fantasized about, and how close does that performance, whatever it might have been, match what Tiger has done over the last 4 days?
Well, it's got to be a dream, you know. If I could have played like that, like he just did the last 4 days in the major championship, that'll be my ultimate golfing week, you know. You know, it seems like, you know, it's tough kind of to comment on it. It's got to be, as I just said, I mean, he just played the perfect U.S. Open week. You know, he did nothing wrong. And, you know, that's kind of what dreams are made of, probably. You know, when you're a little kid, when you're 4 or 5 years old and you dream about winning championships and running away from fields and making everything, that's kind of how you have to play. So, you know, he's kind of perfect at the moment.
Ernie, as a golfer, what is the more impressive number about his performance? The fact that he won a major by 15 strokes, which basically destroyed old Tom Morris's record from 1862, or the fact that he finished the U.S. Open at 12 under par?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, we're playing a different game than, I guess, old Tom Morris did back in the 1700s or whatever. My hat's off to him, but I mean, this guy is, I mean, if you can put old Tom Morris with Tiger Woods, you probably beat him by 80 shots right now. Hey, the guy's unbelievable, man. I mean, I guess he's the first guy to ever go into double figures in the U.S. Open, and as you say, he's winning by 15 strokes, biggest margin in a major. I'm running out of words here. I mean, hey, give me a break. I mean, the guy's unbelievable.
You don't have to have too many more. We're just going to have 2 more questions.
Okay.
One back there.
Ernie, how would you compare your play this week to your 2 U.S. Open victories? Do you feel like you've played up to that level for you?
No,
Okay.
no. I never felt like I really had it this week. I would say yesterday was a really good round, as I said. But when I won my U.S. Opens, I felt like the way Tiger felt today, probably. You know, maybe I didn't shoot those numbers, but you know, from the word go, from Thursday morning, I was in the tournament when I won those, especially 97, 94, and this week I wasn't in the flow of things, and I got it all the way back yesterday, but you know, I just wasn't quite there.
Last one.
Yeah, this is kind of an ongoing thing for Tiger, you know, the last 2 years. What are the things that typically sidetrack a guy to keep him from doing this kind of thing? And why do you think he's been able to avoid them, and do you think he'll be able to keep avoiding them?
That's a good question. I think I'd like to know his formula. You know, it seems like when he takes weeks off, he comes back even better. You know, I don't think he played the week before. No, he didn't play the week before with the U.S. Open, and seems like he came here and he was totally focused, relaxed, and just, I mean, he kind of knew he was going to win. And, you know, if I knew that formula, I'll probably do it myself, and there's a lot of other guys that would do it. What keeps him from doing this, you know, he's so focused every time. That hunger for winning major championship in any tournaments is like 110%. He's there every week, and to be honest with you, I don't feel like that every week when I play. And you know, he's just different. You know, when his next tournament he's going to play, if it's a regular tournament or a major, you know, he's going to be there 110% to win and beat the field. And I'm not sure if there's a lot of players like that out there.
Ernie, thanks for joining us. Good luck.
I know that the golf course was playing very difficult, obviously. There was no wind, but that meant a lot of the guys ahead of me could make a lot of birdies. And initially, Jimenez and Harrington both made some birdies early, got to even par, and I felt if I could just keep hanging on, keep grinding a lot of fairways and greens, that I'd pull out of pressure on them and not give them any hope. And eventually, I'd make a couple putts. I didn't realize it would take me 10 holes, but better then than never. So I made a couple putts coming in, and I made some key up and downs as well to save myself. But I played beautifully all day, and it was just one of those great weeks.
I'll start off with the cliche question, if I may. But how does winning a United States Open compare to winning the Masters Championship in the PGA?
You know, the other two majors were obviously, I mean, they're great wins, but to win our Open Championship, being American, I mean, it's a great feeling. I mean, it's hard to describe. You know, going out there during the week, knowing that you're playing well and you just don't want to put yourself behind the 8 ball and to play as solidly as I did all week. It's hard to put into words and describe, you know, the emotions that are going through me, especially coming up 18. It was just incredible to think of. You think back of all the hard work you put into it, time as a kid, you know, imagining that you're trying to beat the best players in the world. You know, back then it was Arnie and Jack and Watson and Hogan and, you know, great U.S. Open players. And to come up 18 and know that all you need to do is just stay alive, that you would have the Open Championship.
What was your highest point mentally and your lowest point mentally?
When?
In this round, the final round.
The highest point, you know, I've really never had a low point. I guess the highest point probably was making that par putt on 16. That was probably the biggest one, because I didn't want to make a bogey today. And then going out there, if I figured if I made no bogeys today, you know, they're going to have to shoot a great number. And you know, it's possible, but not too realistic to go out there and shoot 10 under par. And I knew if I went out there and made no bogeys today, even if I made 18 straight pars, Ernie was going to have to shoot a really low number. And what I didn't want to do is have the guys behind me with the calm conditions get off to a quick start and then make a few bogeys on top of that, and next thing you know it, it's a ball game. And if I went out there and was patient, hit a lot of fairways, a lot of greens, I knew I'd make a putt here and there and maybe increase the lead, or if not, let them know that it was almost impossible to catch me.
Okay, would you take us from one on?
Okay. Well, the first hole, I hit a 4-iron off the tee, hit a 9-iron to about 12 feet right below the hole and just missed it left. Number 2, hit a beautiful drive down the left side. I hit a 7-iron up there to about 12 feet above the hole. I ran that by, tapped it in. Number 3, hit a 2-iron off the tee, a pitching wedge up there to about, 25 feet past the hole. Left it hanging on the lip. Number 4, hit a 3-iron off the tee in the left rough. Hit a sand wedge short of the hole about 20 feet. Left that hanging on the lip. Number 5, I hit a 7-iron left. Then lagged my putt down there dead center again, short. Made that from about 2.5 feet. Number 6, hit a beautiful drive and a 4, and I didn't think that was that bad. It just ended up in some hay along the side of the bunker. It's hard to believe that's 2 out of the 4 days where I thought I was going to be in the bunker, and I was in this hay. And tried to hit a shot out there, and it came out hot, went over the green, had a real tough pitch, pitched it down the hill to about 6 feet past the hole and made that. Number 6, I hit a sand wedge left, pulled it, hit a putt up there from about 30 feet, again, short, dead center. Number 8, hit a 4-iron off the tee, a 6-iron to about 15 feet below the hole, and I ran that by on the top edge, tapped in for par. Number 9, a driver off the tee, a pitching wedge to about 20 feet from the hole, again, dead center short. Number 10, a driver off the tee, and what I hit in there, a pitching wedge to about 15 feet left the hole and made that. Number 11, a 2-iron off the tee, ended up in one of the great sand divots out there, played out of the divot, sand wedge to about 12 feet right below the hole, again, dead center short. Number 12, a 5-iron to about 18 feet past the hole, made that. 13, hit a drive, pulled it left, got a great lie in the rough, hit a sandwich to about a foot, and kicked that in. 14, hit a good drive down the fairway, light up with a 6-iron, hit a 60-degree sandwich from 84 yards to about 8 feet, made that. 15, I hit a 2-iron off the tee in the right rough, hit a good pitching wedge up there to about 30 feet left of the hole and 2-putted. Again, dead center short. 16, I hit a 3-iron off the tee in the first cut of rough, caught a flyer, ball was gone. Had a real tough pitch, played safe, and ran it by about 15 feet and buried that. 17, I was just playing short. If I flushed a 4-iron there, it might get over the bunker. If not, I knew I'd have an easy uphill bunker shot, and which I did, even though I pulled it left where I wanted it. I had an easy bunker shot, blast out there with a good lie to about 6 inches, tap that in. And on 18, hit a 4-iron off the tee, a 8-iron layup, and a pitching wedge to about 20 feet, and 2-putted.
Have you ever played better under this kind of circumstance?
Well, I've never really had this type of circumstance very often. I think the last time I did was at the 97 Masters when I had a 9-shot lead. And that day I played pretty good too. I shot 69.
Okay, we'll take your questions here.
Tiger, can you sustain this level of dominance over an extended period of time? Will you be able to keep your competitive fire for 5 to 10 years?
It's not necessarily keeping your competitive fire. I won't have a problem doing that. It's just sometimes you're going to go through streaks where you're just not going to play well. And that's just part of playing the game of golf, or playing any sport, really. You know, you're going to have periods where you're going to play great, and you're going to have periods where you're not going to play well. Hopefully you can get through those periods when you're not playing well quickly.
Okay, over here, and then there's a mic needed up there. Go ahead.
Tiger, can you talk about, I think that most people are amazed at the level of performance you've had at such a young age. Only Jack Nicklaus has won 3 different majors at the same age. Can you talk about the emotion you have about being so successful early, how difficult it is, and what your sense of history is as well, and your place in it?
Well, to be honest with you, I guess it all stems from, I hate to go back to it, but it all stems from junior golf. I've been fortunate enough to win a lot of tournaments as a junior, which enabled me to have the confidence at each and every level to play as well as I have. And it all goes back to when I was a kid and all the tournaments that I was able to win, either closely or someone might have given me one, or I might have just run away with it. Whatever it was, it teaches you every time you win and every time you lose, especially if you win, how to win. What did you do right and what did you do wrong to get yourself in a winner's circle? And to have the success that I've had as a professional, it's been pretty nice, to be honest with you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Tiger, in relation to the majors, you obviously now have 3 out of the 4. Can you talk about your passion to win the British coming up next month, and did winning this third one fuel that a little bit more?
To be honest with you, no, it didn't fuel it anymore. Going into this week, we all knew that if there's any 2 tournaments to win the Grand Slam on, it would be these 2 venues. It doesn't get much better than this: Pebble Beach and St. Andrews.
Yeah, Tiger, I know you haven't had a lot of time to process the ramifications, but to you, what's the more impressive feat? The fact that you beat a major championship field by 15 strokes, which beats Tom Morris's record from 1862, or the fact that you finished the U.S. Open in these conditions at 12 under par?
Well, I think the latter. To finish a U.S. Open this many under par, you played well. And this week I drove the ball beautifully, hit a lot of good iron shots. But if you look back at each and every round, I made the important par putts. I kept telling all of you guys every time I came in here is that I made those big par putts, and those big par putts, you have to make them in U.S. Opens, just because of the fact that you miss a green here or any U.S. Open championship, excluding Pinehurst, you knew that you're going to grab the lob wedge, hack it out, and it's hard to control that out of the rough. You're going to have those 8 or 10 footers, or maybe even longer, for par. If you make those feel better than a birdie. And either you build on the momentum you've built on, or you can turn the tide on it. And this week, there always comes a point in time in every round you get to make one of those putts, and I was able to step up there and bury those putts.
Back there.
Tiger, you've had 2 weeks now, the Masters and this one, where you've just pulled away and pulled away. What does it feel like, and has there been a point in those 2 weeks where you've known it's your week?
Let's see. I've had 2 great weeks in major championships, but I said out there, and I told Stevie walking up 18, is that there comes a point in time when you feel tranquil, you feel calm, you feel at ease with yourself. And those 2 weeks, I felt that way. And I felt very at ease with myself, and for some reason things just flow. No matter what you do, good or bad, it really doesn't get to you. Even the days when you wake up on the wrong side of bed, for some reason, it doesn't feel too bad. It's just all right. And to have those weeks just happen to coincide with major championships is even better.
Back over here. Who's got the mic? All right, there.
Tiger, I'd like to ask you, we asked Ernie to talk about how great you are. It's a lot easier when you ask someone to talk about someone else, but if you can bear with us, how great do you think you are? How great do you think you are still to be as a golfer?
Well, it's not exactly easy for me to answer. I can tell you one thing. This is something I've said, and I will continue to say, is I'm gonna try and get better. You're always trying to work on things in this game of golf, trying to get a little bit better, whether it's trying new equipment or it's trying new techniques. It's always something that you're always trying to get better. We all understand that. If we all play golf, we all have the bug. We're all trying to get better somehow. And I know there are a few things in my game I'm going to continue to work on. Actually, my whole game, and I'm going to try to keep improving it. I don't know what that level will be. I will probably have a better understanding when I'm probably 60 years old and look back in hindsight at where I was at my peak and how long my prime was. But until then, you really don't know until you go through it.
Go ahead.
Yesterday I asked you if you had an insurmountable lead over here. If you had an insurmountable lead on 18.
Oh, sorry, what am I looking?
If you had an insurmountable lead on 18, would you allow yourself a moment to soak up the moment there? You said wait and ask me tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I got my tee shot in the fairway. then I let go a little bit, and I started seeing that, I won the championship. Just stay alive. And that's all I had to do, and I felt I was in pretty good shape. I don't have the big pot belly, so I'm all right. And all I needed to do was just stay alive, and I knew I had 2 easy shots. I knew it was going to be somewhere around a 6 or 7 iron. I ended up hitting 8 iron to lay up and a wedge on the green, and I figured I could handle it from there.
Okay.
So you're following up on that. I don't suppose there was ever a time when you were walking up to, say, this on the 16th green, and you look at the scoreboard, and you think to yourself, I could use my putter and just my putter for the last 2 holes at Pebble and still win by 6 or 7 strokes.
No, that's, to be honest with you, any kind of weird ideas never crossed my mind, because of the fact that I wanted to have a day where I made no bogeys. That was my goal from the beginning of the day, no bogeys. And I think the highlight of, I won't say the highlight, but one of the bigger moments of the day was when I buried that putt on 16. Because I worked so hard not to make a bogey all day and then have a 15-footer for par. And if I missed that putt, I would have been a little ticked at myself. And I went up there and I buried that putt, and it just felt so good to do that, and then go on and get that up and down at 17, and I figured I could handle 18 with a 4 iron off the tee.
Okay, there's one back there, and we need to mic it down here in the front also. Please.
Tiger, Ernie described your round, or your week, as close to perfect. How close to perfect did you feel like it was?
It was a pretty good week. I hit the ball well. I made a lot of those big, as I said. I made a few birdies here and there, but I think more than anything, this week was a week in which a lot of the things went right for me. And I hit, for instance, I hit 2 bad tee shots today. Hit one that was a terrible pull on number 4 that I'm praying that it doesn't go in that little pot bunker there, that hopefully it gets past it. Ends up hitting on the side of that, kicking back in the first cut of rough, and having a perfect lie, easy shot, uphill, on the left side of the fairway to a back right pin. I mean, it's exactly what you want to have. And then again, I hit a bad tee shot on 13, landed in the rough, ended up having a perfect lie, a 60-degree sand wedge that hit to a foot. Those are things that just go your way. 14 on the first day, a driver in the left rough, had no shot. Had somewhat of a good lie, played the ball into the rough, the long rough, and from there it's all luck. What happens? Comes out, and I got a foot tap in. That's just one of those things where a lot of the breaks go your way.
Back there.
Tiger, a Walker Cup member, a U.S. Junior Amateur Champion, a Amateur Champion, and now a U.S. Open Champion. Your affiliation with the USGA and what it's meant to you as an organization.
Well, the USGA has always been. When I was growing up as a kid, when I first started playing big golf, I guess, or international golf, it was the Junior World, and that was the big tournament. Until I got a little bit older, then it became the U.S. Junior. And then that's the tournament I always wanted to win, and focus all my attention around that. Then it became the U.S. Amateur. And now it's the 4 majors, and I just so happened to get this one, which is nice.
David?
Tiger, what do you remember about St. Andrews when you played there in the Dunhill Cup? And was that the only time you played there?
No, my first British Open was there in '95. Yeah. But in the Dunhill Cup, it was cold. I'm telling you, it was so cold. It was kind of funny how much the wind changes there. And I hit 2 iron and a 60-degree sand wedge into the first hole one day in one of my matches. And the match I lost to Santiago Luna, I hit a driver and a 4 iron on the same hole. And it goes to show how much the wind can switch there. And I just remember playing, there are bunkers there that you never see until the wind changes. Then all of a sudden, those bunkers come into play, and you think of the genius involved in designing a golf course like that.
Okay.
Tiger, when you first came on the scene, your father made some statements about your potential that many of us thought were probably a little outrageous. Given what's taken place today, is it possible that even Earl underestimated your potential? And can you talk a little bit about the Father's Day angle that always takes place in the Open?
Well, I think my dad has always had a big belief in my abilities, and so have I. The only difference is that he stated them, and I didn't. I let my clubs do the talking. And I guess that's a father. I'll probably be that way too with my kids. I'll be a proud parent. And I guess that's what my dad was. And when asked, he would give the honest answer. It's just that sometimes the honest answer, you could twist it in the press and blow it out of proportion, which it happened occasionally with all of you here. So, I guess that today is a very special day. It's Father's Day, and I can't tell you enough about what my dad meant to my golf, and me as a person growing up, and all the times that I had questions in life, and all the guidance that he's given me. I can't thank him enough. And he and my both my parents were always there for me. My dad always took me out, and we practiced, we played, and we had a lot of fun competing against each other. Those are the times you look back on and you reminisce and you miss. And to have my dad still alive while I won this championship on Father's Day, it's very important to me. He was actually, he should have been dead in '97, the complications you have after the heart surgery. And for him to come back against doctor's orders, go to the Masters, give me a putting lesson, putt great that week, and I win by 12, and then this week to have him here witnessing it, it's very special to me.
Over there. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would love to visit Korea one day, and I've been over there in Seoul. I've stopped over on my way to Thailand, and I've visited the city a little bit. I've seen some of the sights on my layover to Bangkok, but no, I've never competed there, and I would love to compete there, and one day I will, and hopefully it can be in the near future. Only time will tell, but I would love to be there.
Can I just double check the number at St. Andrews? Your last 4 rounds of the Dunhill Cup, is it 19 or 22 under?
Last 4 rounds of Dunhill Cup?
Yeah.
I think I shot, it's not that low. It's had 2 66s and I believe a 68. And then I shot 72 against Luna. That's, I guess, a 16.
Right here.
Tiger, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions on the mental side of golf. Firstly, what is it about the way you put your game together mentally that you think separates you from other players? And secondly, is a huge intimidation factor now building with other players? Ernie Els just told us that if he'd played his best golf today, he'd still have gotten beaten by 5 or 6, or this week rather. Do you get a feeling that the rest of the field now turns up wondering if it can win, even if it plays at its best?
To be honest with you, the mental side of the game, I've always had a tremendous belief in my abilities. I've proven it in tournaments, but more so I've proven it in practice sessions when no one's been around. You're out there practicing as a kid on a back nine, and you're playing against some of the best players, and you try and imitate their golf swings, and I'm no different. I still do it today just for fun, and those are the times that you prove to yourself that you can do it, and then you go ahead and do it in competition, and then it feeds from there. And I've been very fortunate that I've had the success I've had at an early age, which has given me the confidence to go on and keep succeeding. As far as intimidating the other players, what you do is you try and get up there and put yourself in contention, and that's it. And whatever happens from there, it happens. If they fall by the wayside just because you're there, then so be it. But I would much rather put myself in contention week after week. I'm not going to win every tournament that I play in. I'm going to try, and if I can put myself there week in and week out, and I will win my share of tournaments. I just need to get there.
Okay, back there.
Tiger, it obviously meant a lot to you to win the US Open here. What would it mean to you to win the Millennium Open at St Andrews? A. B. What would it also mean to join 4 great legends as a Grand Slam winner?
That's something I would love to have happen, and there's no better sight to have it occur than and at the home of golf. And that's where it all started. And that's, if I could somehow be fortunate enough to play well at the right time and get that claret jug, it'd be a great feeling. I've come close. Came close to 98, and I would have made a few putts last year on the weekend. It might have been a different story, but I've come close, and I just need to keep putting myself there and with a chance to win, and hopefully I can get that jug.
Here, then there. Go ahead.
Tiger, you won two of your three majors with pretty sick numbers in terms of the margin of victory. You won your other one by one shot, and I will never forget the look of relief on your face on 18 at Medina last year. What do you find more enjoyable or rewarding? I mean, you blow everybody away here, but all you have to do is make pars today. Is it more enjoyable to go to 18 knowing you need a birdie to win, or do you have a preference for either one?
Give me that 9-10 shot lead every time. Every single time. Now you realize, now I realize why most of the golfers out here are balding and gray. You go to the last hole with a one up lead, or have to make a big putt on 17, like when I did at the PGA. That tests you a little bit. Those are probably more rewarding from a standpoint that you have to do it at that moment, and you end up doing it. When you have a big lead, obviously you can make a few mistakes and everything will still be okay. So there's a different internal struggle. But I think as far as feeling more rewarded, if you can go down a stretch with it, head to head against somebody and come out on top, and that's a great feeling. I mean, even though I won today by 15 or won the Masters by 12, it doesn't compare to coming down a stretch knowing you have to make that putt on 17 and you bury it and then go play 18 and make par. I mean, that was such a great feeling.
In the back now.
Tiger, right now you are the king, and you've been there, the king of the golf world. Remember when Michael Jordan was the king of the sports world? There was, I want to be like Michael. Everybody wants to be like Tiger. It's a lot to carry, but if amateurs want to play better golf, and they're listening to Tiger Woods, and everybody wants to hear why you play better golf, can you pass on a little helping hint to let people play better golf?
How can you play better golf? Well, first, some people are beyond help. And two, I guess, to be honest with you, there's really no substitute for hard work. My dad has always said, you get out of it what you put into it, and there's no shortcuts. And in this game, there's no crueler statement than that, because you go out there and if you work hard on your game, you're going to get better. But just a weekend golfer, that's all it is. He's just a weekend golfer. He goes out every once a weekend, if that, and expects to hit great tee shots and make those big putts and take all his cash from his buddies. That's not going to happen each and every time unless you get out there and you work.
Okay. Next to the last one, right?
Tiger, was there an adjustment or a refinement with the putting this week that made it all fall together?
Yeah, actually there was. Wednesday, actually the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I was not putting all that well. And I couldn't hit my line very well consistently. I was making putts in a practice round, but it just didn't feel right. I was kind of timing it with my hands. It just didn't feel like I was rolling the ball. It was kind of skidding a little bit. And I worked for about 2.5 hours on Wednesday out there on the putting green, and I found that my hands were a little too low. So I raised them up, which is different than what I've been doing. I've been trying to get them lower, just overcooked it a little bit. And from there, I raised my hands up, which allowed me to release the blade down the line and get back to where I was for most of this year. This year, I've been trying to lower my hands, but as I said, I think I just overcooked it, got them too low where the toe was up in the air, hitting a lot of pulls. So I got the putter was a little more balanced on the ground, and from there, once I started making a few good strokes on the putting green, and it kind of built up a little bit, and I went out there on the golf course on Thursday and putted beautifully early in the round. And I said, yeah, this is right. I'm on the right track. Now I just need to keep doing it, and I was able to do it all week.
Okay, we're going to do this one last and that one there. Please don't raise your hand anymore. Go ahead.
People in California obviously think Pebble's one of the great courses in the world, and we've had 4 opens. The other 3 were won by 3 pretty good golfers. Now you join them. Can you put this in perspective? What it means is, would it mean any less if you won another open? But growing up in California, Pebble Beach, and then following Nicklaus, Watson, and Kite as a champion here.
Well, the past champions is just, it's remarkable to put my name on that list at this site. It's hard to put it into words. Growing up as a kid, watching, I guess when I first started watching, it was a Crosby, then the AT&T on TV, and then seeing even the great champions win as a little boy at those tournaments, the year in and year out tournaments, and then to watch the '82 Open when Watson chipped in. I remember it vaguely. The only thing I really remember is Watson making that big putt on 18 and putting his arms up. I vaguely remember that. I don't really remember the chip in, probably because I didn't really understand it at the time what that meant, how big a chip in that was. I guess I was only 6.5. But I watched Tom Kite win. I saw how difficult it was. What a true champion it took to win that tournament, and to come out here this week and perform the way I did, and on one of the greatest venues there is in golf. It doesn't get much better than that.
Okay.
Sort of following on what I asked you yesterday, you're a great student of the game as much as an exponent of it. Where do you think this victory leaves you in the history of golf right now?
To be honest with you, I think you need to let time go on a little bit for all of us to understand what transpired. Well, for me, I don't know about all of you, but definitely for me, because even when I won the Masters in '97, it took me 2 to 3 years before I actually understood what I had done. When you're playing in a tournament, you're just trying to win, and the records are great, but you don't really pay attention to that. You pay attention to the fact that I got my green coat. Now I get to go home. And here this week, I got the trophy. Now I get to go home. But you don't really understand exactly what you've done until time passes. And I'll appreciate this win a lot more in the future than I do right now, because I'm too close to the moment. And I've had a wonderful week, and a great week actually. But I can't really tell you that historically what it really means. I've been told that I've set a few records, but I don't really know what they are. I haven't had time. No one's told me. They said, "Oh, you tied or broke 15 records." Well, I don't even know what they are. The only thing I know is that I got the trophy sitting right next to me.
Tiger, thank you and good luck. Thank you.
Thanks, Les.
There he is, your champion, Tiger Woods. Those records about which he spoke may well stand for a long, long time. It could be well over another 100 years before they are even touched. Tiger talked about hard work, and I will not soon forget what happened at Memorial several weeks ago. He won in a runaway. He came off the golf course after shooting a 63. He looked at his coach, Butch Harmon, and he said, "Butch, meet me at the range. We've got work to do." He was the last one out of there on that day after shooting a 63. Somebody mentioned the possibility of playing golf in Korea. You can book this. They will offer great sums of money to lure him to every corner of the globe. Arguably the most famous athlete around the world since Muhammad Ali. A chance to join Sarazen, Hogan, Player, and Nicklaus as the only men to have won all 4 major championships. This is a young man, it appears, much more interested in history and in victories than in money. Certainly with the great achievements, the great wealth will follow. We need to thank Craig Smith of the USGA and his entire staff here in the Media Center. And special thanks to moderator Les Unger.
on the size of government, but when it comes time to do it, it's a whole nother story.
Are you going to win that battle?
I don't know. I believe the people of Minnesota deserve the right to make a choice. And in the long run, here's the case. It'll educate the public. It'll bring forth an issue in a presidential year that we could have a huge voter turnout, because then most people don't even understand the bicameral system. And by putting it on the ballot and allowing the people to choose unicameral or bicameral, we will then thus educate them on both, so that no matter which wins, we win.
Jesse Ventura, we thank you. And if you get a phone call from Senator McCain, you'll let me know.
Sure.
And burn that picture.
No, that picture's frozen. They've got that forever.
Governor Barnes, Governor Ridge, Governor Ventura. We'll be right back after this.
Oh, come on. You can't stay another day? There he is.
I wish I could. I'm just so crazed with the new job. I don't have time to figure out my finances.
We went through the same thing when we got this house. And with the new baby coming, we needed help.
So what'd you guys do?
Called T. Rowe Price.
Really?
Yeah, it was great. It really helped simplify things. Give him a call.
Okay, I will.
What a big brother's for, right? Come on, get out of there, you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right.
T. Rowe Price, helping people invest with confidence for over 60 years.
Let's move on. Do your business.
Your business is important to us.
It doesn't sound sincere.
Your business is important to us.
Take 55.
Your business is important to us.
What a beat in between business and is.
Your business is important to us.
There's an easier way to treat people better. E-customer service from IBM.
The U.S. Postal Service, with new automated systems from Lockheed Martin, is speeding the delivery of billions of pieces of mail and the occasional birthday present from Uncle Will. Interestingly, Lockheed Martin is also building America's next generation of fighter planes, which means we not only help deliver the present, but the future.
I like to live big. I like big surprises, big dreams.
The innovative GE Spectra is big.
Big healthy babies.
It's so big it holds a turkey, 2 casseroles, and 3 loaves of bread.
I like to entertain, big time.
Or 288 hors d'oeuvres, or 12 perfect pies.
I love having a whole house full of people.
GE Spectra, the biggest, most accurate oven in America. It cooks big inside and out.
Most of all, I like the big smiles that I get when I cook big.
Cook big with the incredible GE Spectra.
Big.
He's got Zogatron. I'll exchange it.
Introducing e-merchandise return from the United States Postal Service. It's so simple, your customers can print a prepaid return label right from your website. Now the stuff they buy online practically returns itself. Easier exchanges for them means more business for you. What's your e-priority?
Like an eagle.
Start your day tomorrow and today with Katie. Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. And tonight, Tom Brokaw anchors a special summit with the heads of America's top computer and internet companies. Privacy, progress, and more. Live tonight on MSNBC at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's all for today. We'll be back next week. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
The following is a commercial message from the Archer Daniels Midland Company.
The Warsaw Pact and NATO, mankind's striving for military security. Even when we are all militarily secure, hunger persists. What about global food security? Well-fed countries like ours may forget that we have abundant, affordable food, but the world's hungry people have abandoned their homelands, even surrendered their freedom, in a quest for food. Probably we'll always have maps and borders to divide us, but when it comes to feeding the hungry, shouldn't we think of a world without borders? We have heard the warnings. If we haven't, our children will. The warnings from those who believe that hunger, simple hunger, could become the global security issue of the 21st century. Shouldn't everyone have the right to enough to eat? Think about it.
To prepare for world food demands, ADM doubles capacity every 5 years. We're not just thinking about how to feed the world, we're working to make it happen.
Turning on the light, I was immediately aware of something different. It was the same room. She was the same woman. Yet somehow, incredibly, something had changed.
The Enrich bulb from GE. Its innovative glass filters out rays that dull colors. Blues look bluer, reds redder. Almost everything looks better.
Her blue eyes blazed. Her black hair burned. She turned to me. I turned to her and said,
"That's some light bulb."
The incredible Enrich bulb, only from GE.
Where's the center of the tech world? Tokyo? I don't think so.
The center is best described by use of the Fourier vortex theory.
Let me get back to you. Whoa! Not here! Tech world? Anyone? Downtown!
Looking for the center of the tech world?
I think I found it.
Maybe it's where the most highly respected, highly successful tech companies are found. The New York Stock Exchange.
Think the Fed's gonna raise interest rates?
Meet the Press has been sponsored by GE. Online at www.ge.com. GE, we bring good things to life.
Meet the Press is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
This week, live from Today's Kitchen, our favorite recipes. Katie, Matt, Alan, and cook up their best dishes, which can only get messy. This week on Today.
Dateline Sunday, their duty to protect and serve. But first, some officers get hit with pepper spray. You decide, is this training or torture? Dateline tonight.
Of the 5 men running for president, only one is for a qualified teacher in every classroom. Only one is for access to health care for all Americans. Only Bill Bradley. Only Bill Bradley.
This is the way that I relax, is, going to the racetrack, sitting back, playing a few races. You know, it's just like golf. You have to study it. You have to try to come up with the best approach to betting and to separate the best from the worst. But I really enjoy it. I like it, It's exciting. Very, very exciting.
When I'm in town, I come quite a bit. I would say maybe three times a month. I enjoy the game. I used to be a big Washington Redskins fan, and now since I moved here, I love the Miami Dolphins.
Sports aside, Lee spends most of his private time with Sharon and his new family, just enjoying each other's company.
My children have only seen their father twice in 29 years. So they never had a father at all. It was always, I was it. And so they've looked to Lee as a wonderful father role.
I had known about Lee Elder for a long time because I grew up playing golf since I was 9, but he's a great guy. He's very kind and giving and fun to play golf with, and a great mentor as well.
I never had a family that I could really call my own, or someone that I could really go to and sit and enjoy them like I have with her family. And for her family to accept me the way that they have accepted me is certainly one gratifying thing that I'm very happy of.
They call him Dad, they kiss him, tell him they love him. The grandkids are wonderful with him. He's Poppy. And it's just been wonderful for me. It's wonderful for him. It was just like it was meant to be.
Yeah, Lee and Mom are a very special couple. They love us and the kids tremendously, and they just are the most wonderful grandparents you could ever imagine.
The grandkids, I'm just so happy to be involved with them and see those open arms coming with that smiling face. It's just so great, and to be able to now sit back and relax and enjoy something that I haven't enjoyed. I'm right now probably the happiest person in the world. It's so good to be relaxed. Ooh, man, away from really the the hustle and bustle of the tour. I'm so happy it's ended, to be home and be with the family, you know, just enjoying life, the good life.
Coming up next, golf stories and interviews from a Canadian perspective. Score Golf TV is next on the Golf Channel.
Tonight on the Golf Channel, after instruction and news, join host Peter Kessler as he welcomes PGA Tour winner Stuart Appleby on Golf Talk Live. Then it's Palmer, Player, and Nicklaus in Big 3 Golf.
From the pages of Canada's #1 golf publication, Score Magazine, comes Score Golf TV, covering the world of golf from a Canadian perspective for 20 years. Now, here's your host and the editor of Score Magazine, Bob Weeks.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Score Golf TV, where we cover the world of golf with a Canadian perspective. Coming up on today's show, we're going to have a chance to chat with a guy who won more majors in the 1990s than anyone else. Do you know who that is? Well, it's Nick Faldo, and he'll be in our profile spotlight. We're also going to take you out to Pemberton, British Columbia, which is right near Whistler, BC, for a look at what I consider the most underrated golf course in all of Canada. That's Big Sky Golf and Country Club. All that and a lot more this week on Score Golf TV, but first, here's a little Canadian golf news. Well, the Canadian Golf Hall of Fame and Museum announced its inductee for 2000, and it's a deserving one in my book. It's Dave Barr. Of course, Dave has played the PGA Tour longer than any other Canadian, now going on 20 years. He was the first Canadian to cross $1 million in earnings and $2 million in earnings. Now, his induction will take place at a time and location to be decided by Dave a little later in the summer, and we'll have a little bit more on this in my commentary later in the show. Right now, let's go to the Profile Spotlight and meet Nick Faldo.
Profile Spotlight, a conversation with some of golf's greatest names.
While his name still draws respect from golf fans around the world, the most common topic of conversation around Nick Faldo these days is, what's happened? Since winning the 1997 Nissan Open, Faldo's name has been missing from leaderboards, and it's something he'd like to correct.
Well, it's frustrating. I mean, I think you're just trying to get out back to where you feel like you're back in